Lindsay Halligan, the U.S. Attorney for Western Virginia, was told by a judge this week, you better stop calling yourself the U.S. Attorney for Western Virginia. Lindsay Halligan was told months ago by the courts, you were improperly appointed, basically illegally appointed. You're not the U.S. Attorney of anywhere. And Lindsay Halligan, who was told, pack your shit and get out, never left. She just stayed. And she continued to call herself the U.S. Attorney for Western Virginia. And yes, that is how she spelled it on her official court filing. She misspelled the word Virginia and wrote it as Virginia. Many, many times. So I could understand the judge obviously having an issue with that, right? That's not where you're the U.S. Attorney from. No. But this week, U.S. District Judge David Novak issued a ruling blasting Halligan for continuing to call herself the U.S. Attorney from anywhere and said this. Ms. Halligan's response contains a level of vitriol more appropriate for a cable news talk show and falls far beneath the level of advocacy expected from litigants in this court, particularly the Department of Justice. The court will not engage in a similar tit-for-tat. Ms. Halligan and anyone who joins her on a pleading that continues to call her a U.S. attorney subjects themselves to potential disciplinary action in this court pursuant to the court's local rules. In other words, the judge said, anybody who walks into this court, whether it's Lindsay Halligan herself or if it's anyone else, you come into my courtroom and you call this person a U.S. attorney, then I am going to punish you because she is not a U.S. attorney. She cannot call herself a U.S. attorney. And by God, I am not going to suffer that in my courtroom, especially after she comes in here acting like an asshole. That's what that ruling was. He was mad because of her horrific attitude and behavior. And he's like, you know what? F you. Here's what I'm going to rule. I love that. I love Judge Novak. This is great. I want to see more of this from more judges. But also, I want to see Lindsay Halligan on video carrying all of her stuff out of that office in Virginia, not Virginia, in a box and having to put it in the back of her car. And you know what? I hope stuff falls out on the way to her car. I hope she's walking with her little box and the bottom just falls out of it. That's what I want to see happen. And again, I want somebody to capture that on video. That would be true comedy to me. Something that the best comedy writers in the world wouldn't even be able to come up with because it would be so hilarious. But that is what she deserves. This is an individual who was an insurance lawyer, not a prosecutor, never prosecuted a case in her life, just like Judge Cannon before she was appointed as a judge, or had never handled a criminal case. I'm sorry. So we got an insurance lawyer masquerading as a U.S. attorney, continues to call herself a U.S. attorney, even though the courts have said you are not a U.S. attorney. And it's absolutely insane. I mean, calling yourself a U.S. attorney when you're clearly not one, I mean, that's almost like taking somebody else's Nobel Peace Prize and showing it off saying you won it, right? I mean, who would do that? Because that's just crazy talk from crazy people, which is what we have come to expect from this administration. Thanks for watching, and if you are not already subscribed to the channel, please do so, and do not forget to like and comment and share widely among your friends.